The First Sacred War or Syrian War was fought between the Amphictyonic League of Delphi and the city of Kira. In the beginning of the 6th century BC, the attempt of the Paleo-Delphic Amphictyony, controlled by the Thessalians, to take hold of the sacred land of Apollo ended up in this war. Its end was marked by the organization of the First Pythian Games. The conflict arose due to Kira's frequent robbery and mistreatment of pilgrims going to Delphi and their encroachments upon Delphic land. The war resulted in the defeat and destruction of Kira. The war is notable for the use of chemical warfare at the siege of Kira, in the form of hellebore being used to poison the city's water supply. Siege of Kira. The leader of the attack was the tyrant Cleisthenes of Sicyon, who used his powerful navy to blockade the city's port before using an allied Amphictyonic army to besiege Kira. The Athenians participated as well, with a contingent led by Alcmaeon. On the Thessalian side, the leaders were Eurylochus and Hippias. What transpired after this is a matter of debate. The earliest, and therefore probably most reliable, account is that of the medical writer Thessalos. He wrote, in the 5th century BC, that the attackers discovered a secret water pipe leading into the city after it was broken by a horse's hoof. An Asclepiad named Nabros advised the allies to poison the water with hellebore. The hellebore soon rendered the defenders so weak with diarrhea that they were unable to continue resisting the assault. Kira was captured and the entire population was slaughtered. Nabros was considered an ancestor of Hippocrates, so this story has caused many to wonder whether it might not have been guilt over his ancestors' use of poison that drove Hippocrates to establish the Hippocratic Oath. Later historians told different stories. According to Frontinus, who wrote in the 1st century AD, after discovering the pipe, the Amphictyonic League cut it, leading to great thirst within the city. After a while, they restored the pipe, allowing water to flow into the city. The desperate Kirans immediately began drinking the water, unaware that Cleisthenes had poisoned it with hellebore. According to Polyarinus, a writer of the 2nd century, after the pipe was discovered, the attackers added the hellebore to the spring from which the water came, without ever actually depriving the Kirans of water. Polyarinus also gave credit for the strategy not to Cleisthenes but to General Eurylochus, who he claimed advised his allies to gather a large amount of hellebore from Anticyra, where it was abundant. The stories of Frontinus and Polyarinus both have the same result as Thessalos's tale, the defeat of Kira. The last major historian to advance a new story of the siege was Pausanias, who was active in the 2nd century. In his version of events, Solon of Athens diverted the course of the river Pleistis so that it didn't run through Kira. Solon had hoped to thus defeat the Kirans by thirst, but the enemy was able to get enough water from their wells and rainwater collection. Solon then added a great quantity of hellebore to the water of the Pleistis and let it flow into Kira. The poisoning then allowed the allies to destroy the city. Outcome of the war. The First Sacred War ended with the victory of the allies of the Amphictyony. Kira was destroyed and its lands were dedicated to Apollo, Leto and Artemis, and it was forbidden to cultivate them or let animals graze on them. Its inhabitants fled to mountain Kipha. Cleisthenes was generously rewarded with 1/3 of the booty. In order to celebrate the end of the fighting, the first Pythian Games were organized with Cleisthenes playing a major part in them. However, modern scholarship is very skeptical on the exact events and on the long duration of the war. Bibliography. Forrest, G.G., The First Sacred War, BCH 80, 33-52. Janore, J. Crissa, Kira et la Première Guerre Sacrée, BCH 61, 33-43.